I've been going back in time, looking at some of the ridiculous, crazy stuff people were saying during COVID about the vaccine. Because, we're years out at this point, and it's pretty clear the vaccine was not a danger to anybody. It only helped people, right? So let's see what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about the vaccine in the heat of the moment.
They want you to be required to have something called a COVID passport. And this would mandate your ability to be able to travel, your ability to be able to go to events, your ability to be able to buy and sell. And I asked the question,
Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now, Marjorie? The answer is nobody. There is no they. It was fabricated all along. She unironically just said to us she believed people were going to force us to have a vaccine passport to buy and sell.
earlier today, is this something like Biden's mark of the beast? Because that is really disturbing and not good. Oh, if you're going to come into the football game or the baseball game or the concert, you need your vaccine passport because we're trying to do a good job to keep everyone safe.
Okay, she is conflating two things. If you want to be in an enclosed public space at the height of a pandemic, you have to prove to me that you're being responsible about it. You want to buy food for takeout? You can go into that shop and get the food and leave without having to prove that you were vaccinated. You want to go to an outdoor concert? I don't think that they really required vaccine like things for that or whatever. But to claim you have to have one to buy and sell? What broke in these people's brains? That was nuts.
These people would have been the first dead in the Black Plague.
Oh, 100%.
Like, the first one out.
I think the Black Plague wiped out like 2/3 of Europe or something.
Mhm.
It wiped out like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Passport because we're trying to do a good job to keep everyone safe. This is what the Biden administration is trying to talk to these private companies into doing.
Biden administration didn't try to talk like I thought he was a dictator in your mind. Why didn't he just force everybody to have a COVID passport where they couldn't leave their house or or they'd lose their jobs or whatever? Why didn't he do any of that? Literally none of that happened. You know, there wasn't a federal lockdown. There were advisories, there were suggestions, but there was never a federal lockdown. And in fact, Biden tried to institute not a vaccine mandate, but a testing mandate all the way back then that you could be exempted from if you got vaccinated. But even that was shot down. If you aren't vaccinated, you have to get tested once a week. That was the rule. And we couldn't even get that through. But these people are so wrapped up in their own fear-mongering trash that they couldn't see straight, and they spread all of that nonsense anyway. They're still in this same type of mindset, not about vaccines, but about everything else now.
Well, let's analyze that. You see, it's still the same thing. It's still fascism or communism, whatever you want to call it, but it's
She thinks that Democrats were fascists at the time, really.
communism, whatever you want to call it, but it's coming from private companies. So I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
It is so stupid. I don't even know what to do with it.
That would have been capitalism.
Yeah.
And she likes capitalism. Let's get that straight.
Yeah. It's so stupid, dude.
Corporate communism.
Fascism and communism historically absolutely hated each other. They were at odds with each other. The communists and the Nazis couldn't stand each other. They were like targeting each other. And communists back then in the 40s were violent and angry and dangerous and vicious. They were like Nazis. They were very, very similar to Nazis in how violent and angry they were. So to call somebody a communazi, like Tim Pool has said, or to conflate fascism with communism here is just insane.
It shows how little they actually know, because if they understood what communism was or what fascism was or anything else, they would comprehend that you can't say, it's fascism or communism, because they just don't have any idea.
Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand the difference between pretty much anything. She's not the brightest bulb in the box, if you will.
Not only do we have the DC jail, which is the DC gulag, but now we have Nancy Pelosi's Gazpacho police spying on members of Congress,
Gazpacho police, she says.
spying on the legislative work that we see. Pelosi's Gazpacho police.
Gazpacho. She said it with such confidence. What?
What does that even mean?
There was a force in Germany in the 30s and the 40s that were called the Geheime Staatspolizei, or the Gestapo for short. And they were it literally translates to secret state police. They were doing a lot of the arrests back in the 30s and the 40s, and the wiretaps and planting bombs in people's homes and all of that. Gazpacho, on the other hand, what she was talking about was cold tomato soup, is what that's called. Cold tomato soup.
Pelosi's Gazpacho police.
It's so stupid. God.
Man, that's soup police.
Oh my God.
Spying on members of Congress, spying on the legislative work that we do, spying on our staff, and spying on American citizens.
Yeah, the Gazpacho police. Not the brightest bulb in the box is the point that I'm trying to reach here.
They're spying on Americans to get our soup recipes, and we can't let them have it.
God, that's an old video too. When was that from, I wonder? I don't remember. It was
We're the soup police, making sure your tomato broth isn't too warm.
Yeah, that's February 9th, 2022. It's so stupid, dude. Listen to some of the other stupid stuff that she said here. Here we go. This is a good one.
Congresswoman, I've got to play you this. It's about 20 seconds or so. This is Nancy Pelosi today literally talking about this idea of segregation, like literally putting unvaccinated House members in a different area. Have a look at this.
For people's safety during a pandemic, obviously, it's a wise decision to put people in different sections if they are susceptible to disease. Yes, that's clear as day. I don't see how anybody could disagree with that. But in a second, I'll show you Republicans actually endorsing real segregation. These people never cared about segregation as a bad thing. They wanted segregation. They're pretending that they don't like it for their own political benefit right now. Keep listening.
This woman is mentally ill. You know, we can look back in a time in history where people were told to wear a gold star, and they were definitely treated like second-class citizens, so much so that they were put in trains and taken to gas chambers.
She literally just compared anti-vaxxers to Jews in the Holocaust. She literally compared herself to Anne Frank. What broke in this woman's brain? This is absolutely vile.
In Nazi Germany. And this is exactly the type of abuse that Nancy Pelosi is talking about.
She just lives in another reality and has this entire time. Check this out. This is an actual case of segregation.
My name's Nikki, N-I-K-I. I'm 32. I'm a lady.
This is Return to the Land, a group of millennials who organised online to build something radical and controversial. A town for white people only, that they insist is completely legal. We spent several days with them, watching as the men set about the physical labour of building out the site. All the while, the women of the group took on the more typically trad, homesteading type roles.
I guess I found the people through Twitter that ended up starting this project, actually spearheading it, and
So these people are part of a whites-only project, a whites-only community. These are Republicans. This is Doug Wilson. He is a Christian nationalist extremist closely connected to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. Knows him, works with his pastor, has given a talk or a sermon at Pete Hegseth's church before, shaking his hand, hung out, answering the question about interracial marriage. Should interracial marriage be allowed?
Interracial marriages. Yeah, I'd want to begin by objecting to
literally anything you say after is interracial marriage okay? Unless you say yes, I can just about guarantee you're going to say something backwards and messed up.
You should always start that question with an answer. You don't say, well, But first, before I answer this, I want to begin with say yes or no. Just say it outright and then go on to your stupid explanation.
I watched this whole thing, by the way, and it's
Yeah.
on my channel if you want to see it.
It's pretty interesting.
The answer that he gives is no, interracial marriage is not clean cut okay with him. He adds all these hedges and caveats, and well, it's a different culture, and you got to be careful about getting married to people who you don't know very well, and all this. It's just like, what is happening in our society right now where interracial marriage is now on the table, on the chopping block?
He also said, oh, well, languages are an issue, as if anyone's gonna be thinking about marriage when they don't have a
Can't
way to
speak the
communicate.
language, right? What? It's insane, dude. I don't know how we got here, but God, please get me out.
Cashmere's scared.
Anyway, yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments. Absolutely wild, man.